Hey, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. We're excited to have with us City Councilwoman Nancy Bruning, who represents Ward 6. Councilwoman, welcome to the show. It's your second Access City Council show.
Yes, thank you for having me back. I didn't mess up the first one too badly.
Not at all, not at all. You're an old veteran already, so it's good to have you back. You were sworn into office on December 7th, and here it is already. We're well into February, and so yeah, you're off and running. We're going to talk about that today. Yep. Plenty going on in the ward. You know Ward 6 very well. That's your stomping ground. For those of you out there not exactly sure where we're talking about, don't worry, we're going to show you on the map here. It's basically the northwest area of the city of Las Vegas, appropriately enough with the big 6 on it there. If you live in that area or work in that area, of course, you're in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And if you're a resident out there in that tan area, then you are represented on the city council now by Nancy Bruning. So congratulations, welcome. Good to have you back. Councilwoman, you've been very involved. You have not let any grass grow under your feet since you've joined the council. You tweeted this out recently. You said, today we held a senior safety event with Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, Metro Police, to talk about health, fire, and physical safety. So you hit the ground running, and what I love about this is just how much activity this center gets.
Yeah, it's super busy. I didn't even realize myself. They have painting classes, dancing classes. They actually, I just learned when I toured, have an amazing community garden that there's still some plots available, but people just love being there. And they actually put in a library recently, so you can go and see folks just sitting around, chatting, books in the background, people bring, muffins to share. It's truly a social center hub for many of our active adults in Ward 6, and I would argue we need to expand it.
Yeah, do they know that you are a really good baker? Because we got to sample some of your cupcakes this past
I will have
week.
to take some next time.
Yes, you better, because they were outstanding. And Councilwoman, the folks that turn out there, I mean, this was obviously an event about safety, but it seems like no matter what the event is, the turnout is always really, really brisk at this place.
It is, yes. And actually Ward 6 has some of the most or the best attended events in the entire city. And this one, it was good to hear from our seniors that they thought the information they were receiving was really good. We focused on protecting active seniors from fraud, how to put safety measures in their home, and talked about the importance of working smoke alarms. And I will share that if anyone in Ward 6 needs a smoke alarm, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue will either come out with them and install them, or if you have them but they don't want you up on a ladder, right? So just call them and they will come out and install them. We've already put in 2 for some of our seniors. Yeah.
And Councilwoman, that is a great point to mention. People don't realize that the fire department within the city offers that program.
Yes.
And again, they'll either provide you the smoke detector, as Councilwoman said, or again, if you would rather not climb up on the ladder, and I've got some places in my house where they're up there pretty high.
Yeah. They will come out to your house, David.
Exactly. Yeah. They will come out and put them up there for you at no charge. Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's going to give you some peace of mind that those smoke detectors are working. So, Councilwoman, what did you hear from the seniors out there? Specifically, they talked about safety, but did they have any questions for you, being a new council member?
They have a lot of input on their own active senior center. They'd like to see more programs. They would like to have more meals, sort of community lunches, and more seminars, actually. Yeah. So we asked them to tell us, like, what sorts of seminars and workshops do they want to hear, like what sorts of information would be useful.
Good for
you. Yeah, it'll be nice.
All ears. Well, speaking of being all ears, I want to mention to everyone that you do a coffee with the Councilwoman on a regular basis too, right?
Yes, we are out there at our satellite office at the Centennial Hills Y every second Thursday from 9 to 3. You don't have to make an appointment. You can just drop in. We've got hot coffee, snacks, and our guests love the snacks. So it has been really nice to have conversations. Some people come in just to say hi. We've got some regulars that come every month, and other people actually are coming with very specific concerns. So it's a nice mix. It's actually one of the favorite days of my entire month.
That's great.
The day that we spend out there. So
very informal. It's an opportunity to meet your councilwoman over a cup of coffee, over one of maybe her fancy, terrific muffins or cupcakes. And the other thing too is that for the folks that live out in the Northwest, it's not that hike down to City Hall.
Exactly.
Then, so.
And I will add that the last couple of meetings that we've been out there, our representative, Ward 6 representative to the Senior Community Advisory Board and Ward 6 Parks Commissioner have been out there. So if you have any specific concerns about senior issues, Caroline Mosdeen has an amazing resource book, and so she's very happy to also help our residents of Ward 6. So please stop on by if you have any specific concerns related to seniors and the resources that are available to them.
And you know, that's really a good point, because there are a lot of resources available, more than you would think.
Yes.
But people just aren't aware of them. So you can tap in, get that information answered. It's good stuff all the way around. And then Councilwoman, too, I love this because every time a new council member comes on board, I feel like I learn things. I didn't know anything about the Garden Foundation. Now, they're located in Ward 6?
Yes, they are located in Ward 6. So I came across them by way of my previous career. So before I ran for city council, I actually ran the Gwen Center, which is the state's only bipartisan policy center. I did a lot of research on outcomes for students and young adults who have different abilities. The takeaway is that we don't do a very good job. You know, a lot of times we have about 40,000 students in Clark County School District that have an individualized education program or some sort of maybe learning disability or challenge. And a lot of times those kids graduate from high school not knowing how to, move on and what sort of pathway exists for either employment or connections with services. And so if you think about, a lot of people graduate and go on to work, in Nevada, or sort of typically, there are sort of 4 outcomes for folks with different abilities. One is sort of facility-based employment, where you would go spend your day in a facility, maybe taking a class. You think about sheltered workshop environment.
Right.
And then another outcome is where someone with a different ability might go volunteer and be a docent at a museum. The sort of ideal outcome that we aspire to as a society is really integrated employment, where you're matching, but you're giving them a job, or you're matching them to a job that meets their skills and their interests. And so the Garden Foundation is a pretty new foundation, and they are really focused on person-centered planning to talk in depth with someone who's got a different ability, either a young person or even an older person, find out what their interests are, and then hopefully find an employer that can match to their interests. And they also, in addition, offer art programs and dance programs. And the idea is just to give anyone who has a different ability a meaningful life. And so they're in Ward 6, they're doing amazing work, and they actually just opened a coffee shop in Ward 3, Dig It Coffee. And so they are actually providing employment for folks who want to work in a coffee shop out in Ward 3. So they've got amazing plans to grow and expand. And my goal is to actually have them open a Dig It Coffee in Ward 6 and just provide another opportunity for integrated employment and meaningful life for folks with different abilities.
Our own Sue Levitt here at Channel 2 did a piece on Dig It Coffee, and it was very interesting. Didn't know it existed. But it was an amazing place, because not only are they providing employment for people with different abilities, but the coffee looked pretty amazing too. So it's like, I think I might get over there and have something myself. Councilwoman, Garden Foundation isn't for people just with physical disabilities, though, is it? It's for people with disabilities of all types?
Yes, primarily intellectual, actually.
Interesting. And I know that they focus on education, inspiration, independence, and inclusion. Those are important for all of us, let alone people who have disabilities or special abilities.
Especially the integrated employment. So only 17% of adults with different abilities or intellectual abilities actually find themselves in integrated employment settings. And so we can do better.
I have a nephew who has autism, and it was an adventure, to your point, for him to find that right niche of a job. Now, he's got a good job now, but for a time, that was a difficult path for him to be on. So,
well, hopefully he had either a formal job coach or a very loving family who could help him through, the application process, maybe even a job interview process, right? So a lot of times they need just some additional extra coaching, right? Some hand-holding to help them figure out the system, because even, for everyone, it's a very overwhelming system, and they're not necessarily getting those supports and training when they're in the K through 12 years at our school district.
Fortunately, he had both, and so that guided him. And but to your point, that ability to find a meaningful job, finding that independence, as Garden Foundation is talking about, it's a big deal because he can live on his own now. He drives his own vehicle, has his own job, and he's got that independence that is part of one of their pillars. It's huge in a person's life.
It's very big, yeah.
Garden Foundation, you said, is new?
It's about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old.
Interesting.
Yep.
Located in Ward 6.
Yep.
Well, I'm learning something myself here because I didn't know they existed, but it sounds like they're doing obviously very, very important, worthwhile work. How many clients do you think they have offhand, Councilwoman? Do you know?
I don't know. I want to say 30 to 60, I believe, when I spoke with Taylor the other day.
Well, very
but
good.
just growing.
Yeah, good. Well, I think Garden Foundation, if you are a person out there, or maybe you've got a family member, you know someone who could benefit from their services, the Councilwoman's office would be glad to put you in touch with them. So they, again, you've hit this on the head, and you've noted it's hard for people often to find those resources, especially in a large city, to know where to turn. And so we're going to help get the word out that Garden Foundation is there, a nonprofit organization that can really help if you've got a family member, a friend, someone that you know that would fall into this category. So, well, Councilwoman, I want to mention too that in addition to the great programs that Garden Foundation is pushing into the community, our own Parks and Rec department has a lot of adaptive programs for people of all abilities and disabilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, David, in receiving one of the briefings that all the new council people got, I learned about your adaptive programs. Despite all of my work on really trying to connect people with different abilities to our resources, I had no idea about the amazing programs that the city offers, these adaptive programs through Parks and Recreation for both young adults and kids and adults and seniors. And it was just inspiring to talk to the team so that however we can get the word out, because if I didn't know about it, I imagine that many of our other families don't.
That's so true. And that's part of the reason we do programs like this, is to help get the word out. We're very proud of our adaptive programs. We're really one of the national leaders in what we offer here in Las Vegas. And again, to your point, people don't really know that unless maybe they have a family member, they know someone who is part of one of those programs, or took part, or came for a tournament or something like that we have here in Las Vegas. So.
Well, I learned that you actually have camps for both young adults and seniors. And to your point about independence, I mean, the idea that they can have an experience like every other kid and actually go away to a summer camp or spring break camp. And on the other hand, it's really important for our families who may have a child or a young adult with a different ability, right? It requires a lot of patience and sometimes 24-hour care. And so having that, little break to just breathe and relax and reset while they know that their child is off in a very safe, supervised environment, and that their child is probably having the most amazing time with new experiences.
That's what I was going to say, having fun and just like everybody else, and that's just such a huge thing. So, well, Councilwoman, we're going to talk more about this. We're going to have a special guest on. Yeah, exactly. So we need to take a short break here, but when we come back, we'll be joined by that special guest to discuss the parks, recreation, and cultural programming and facilities that the city offers for individuals with different abilities. That's next. So please stay with us.
Our story was begun by someone else. Our story was often shaped by generations before them. Our story was forged and maybe even defined by the experiences of our childhood. But it doesn't need to be. You can be the author. Learn how at numberstory.org.
76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
Papa!
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined now by Steve Ford, who's the director of our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Department. Steve has a big job because the city offers so many classes, activities, sports, and more all across the city and in Ward 6. Steve, thanks so much for being here. It's a pleasure. I think a lot of people may know about all the different swim classes and different classes we offer. But to Councilwoman's point, and from our previous discussion, they may not be that adept, Councilwoman, at all of the adaptive programs that we offer at the City Council. And I know that's one of the things that you wanted to make sure that we highlighted today.
Definitely, because I know I didn't know about them until our briefing, and I was just so impressed and really inspired by the range and the sort of thoughtfulness that's going into all of the design of the programs for both kids, young adults, and our seniors. Really inspiring.
Steve, it's impressive, and I think this is an opportunity for us to toot our own horn here at the city, especially for you and your department. But we have really one of the exemplary adaptive programs across the country, right?
We have one of the largest programs. We're definitely the largest program in the state. We have one of the largest programs in the region. We have offer programs, classes, camps for children, for young adults, as the councilwoman mentioned, adults, senior citizens, and it's all on an adaptive level. We have several different offerings. We have individual classes, we have drop-offs. There's lots of things that we do with the adaptive program.
And Steve, this runs the gamut of people who have physical disabilities to also mental challenges too, right? Emotional challenges.
We have that range of offerings from, for example, we have a great rugby program for disabled folks that get out there and on a court with wheelchairs, and it's a rugby wheelchair. We actually had,
and I've seen it, Steve. I've seen some of this. They do not take this lightly.
No.
This is very competitive.
In fact, a few years ago, we actually, I believe we went to England with an international wheelchair rugby. But on top of the physical ability, we do have the more differently abled individuals with intellectual handicaps, all of those types of things. We have all kinds. We have to my knowledge, one of the only programs, we have a drama club where they can come and act and do these. We had plays, we had a talent show.
Yeah, it was
the
so
talent show
inspiring.
was very, very fun. And so we do have a very wide range of activities for people of all ages and abilities.
That's really phenomenal, Stephen. Again, I think most people are aware of all the other classes and offerings we have, but they may not know very much about these. Councilman, I know one of the things that's near and dear to you to mention too is people often will worry about their ability to pay for a program like this. So let's get into that a little bit. I know that's something you were concerned with, right?
So again, in my previous work, always sort of people were worried about how to connect to resources. And so again, in this briefing, I asked, the question of like, well, are they expensive? Is there a sliding scale? And I mean, there are many options to pay for these programs. So I definitely want to make sure our families in Ward 6 and elsewhere know that there are resources available. I don't know if Director Ford, you can.
We do. So we have basically 3 different funding sources that we have. Obviously, if a family can pay, that's great. But we also have a financial aid program that is based on the income of the family. We also use the Desert Regional Center, which is a state program, to help offset some of the costs. And we also get some funding for disabled veterans from the state as well.
So is that offered, Steve, through a scholarship then or something like that?
It's offered through a program. The financial aid program is actually the families have to come in and fill out an application.
Gotcha.
And we verified all of that information, and then they're eligible from anywhere from 50 to 100% of the cost of the program or the class or the camp. The DRC grant is administered through the state. They have to be signed up through the DRC first, and then that is administered from the city as well as a third party. And then the state program for veterans, we get a grant, and then we apportion that out to eligible individuals.
Steve, how many people are participating in our adaptive programs?
We have somewhere overall 100 to 150, but we're trying to increase that number.
Big number.
To do that, but that is across all of our programs, all of our summer camps. We have spring break camps. We do out of school time for people who are out of school. So there's a very broad range of activities we have.
Councilman, I know too, I'm sure you've been briefed on this as well, but the staff that we have that works our adaptive program, they're all very specially trained, highly trained. We're not just throwing people in there, hey, you're going to go take care of the wheelchair basketball team now. These folks really know what they're doing when it comes to the component of adaptive recreation.
Yeah. They've got like this incredible special license and have to do practicum hours as part of that. And I also learned that when there are camps that we organize for either young adults or adults, there's actually medical personnel that goes with them to the camps in California. Just again, so parents and loved ones know that that we are fully prepared to provide a very safe, fun environment and keep their loved ones safe as they go enjoy this really fun experience.
And we're looking forward to doing that again. This year will be the first year post-COVID that we'll be doing the trips to California again.
Yeah, once again, that's great. Steve, also talk about, I think it's got to be a challenge because you're helping people with various abilities, disabilities of all ages too, and that's got to be a very difficult task to try to find something for such a broad range of people.
We have a lot of different activities going on for that range, and we've got some very talented and dedicated staff who really, really work hard to bring all of those experiences to that broad range. Our youth program that we have, the 12 to 18 program, is teaching them life skills. Everything from life skills to esports. I mean, we have a whole range of offerings for individuals.
That's terrific. Councilwoman, too, in your ward, there, of course, we have the programs that Steve's talking about, but there's also more of the passive things that people can do, the sensory parks, the wheelchair swings, those types of things that are also out there that people may or may not know about.
Yes, so. I did not know about that we had or have started revising some of our parks to add sensory features, so I'm really excited to see more of those in Ward 6. I'm going to support efforts to expand those out in our parks and our wards.
We're really excited to try to bring more of the adaptive and accessible features, because that's one thing we've noticed over the last couple of years since I took over. We've said, hey, we're missing a portion here. We're missing something, and so we'll be asking for funding for this year to start doing that and just systematically adding adaptable, accessible features at each park through the city. It's going to take a while. With 86 parks, we can do a few every year. It's going to take a minute, but that's the plan.
Means a lot to families, though, Steve, to your point, who have a family member who has a special need to be able to go and enjoy that park just like everybody else, and to have that opportunity. It's a big deal. So good luck with all of that. Councilwoman can probably help you with the funding side of all of that. She probably has something to do with how she votes. But Councilwoman, as far as where you see the programs headed, did you have anything in mind as far as some targeted area or something you'd like to see our team focus on more?
I'd like to find a way to maybe, I believe, and you can correct me, that most of the adaptive programs are based at Dula, which is right next to City Hall.
Downtown,
downtown. And so, again, just in whatever ways we can to sort of distribute or disperse some of that programming, so folks in Ward 6 can have something closer to home.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I know, Steve, it's a big city, and we've got 86 parks and 1 million programs. But to Councilwoman's point, that it's a hike from Dula to where people are living out in Ward 6.
Absolutely. We do have some of our programs out at Centennial Hills the Senior Center.
Yeah.
We in fact we partner with the Active Adult Center to do like our, I don't know if you've seen the drumming, can't remember what it's called, the drumming. It's actually a fitness class where they have the big Bosu balls, and then they drums, and the seniors and the folks that are in the adaptive program like to get out there and
sounds fun.
It's a fitness class. So we do things like that. We do some dances out there. So we do have some programs out at Centennial Hills as well.
Okay, very good. That's good to know. Good to know.
But it'd also be great for folks who live in Ward 6 to contact our office to let us know too, like where are their gaps? What would they like to see?
Great point.
We would love to connect them, and that can help inform the programming so that we make sure that we are providing what our residents want to be able to live and play and raise their families out in Ward 6.
Exactly, and we don't know until you tell us, and so that's a very good point. Before the end of the program, we'll tell you how to get in touch with Councilwoman Bruning and her staff, and if you've got some thoughts along those lines, please reach out to us. She'll be glad to get back to you. Her team is great, and they'll take your information, go from there. Folks, we're running a little short of time here. We're getting down toward the end. Councilwoman, Steve, anything else that you two would like to add? Councilwoman, we'll start with you.
Just want to again remind people that please stop by. We're doing our coffees with Councilman Bruning every second Thursday from 9 to 3. Please stop by. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, it's a great way to meet the Councilwoman in a very informal setting and get some good coffee and some treats too. So,
for my side, if folks have questions, they want to know more about the programs, they can call 229-PLAY, 702-229-PLAY, or LasVegasNevada.gov. We have the website there that has most of our information. We are actually trying to revamp that a little bit to put some more of the financial aid information on the website as well. We're not quite to the point where it's all on there yet, but we're getting there.
In fact, Steve, that's a good point. We're in the process of doing a web refresh, and we'll have an opportunity to have that information a little more readily available in our next iteration of the website, which is coming not too far down the road here. So, and Councilwoman and Steve, I want to mention too, speaking of all the great things we offer, there are a couple things coming up that we want to mention real quickly. We have a Councilwoman, the Percussion Collective, April 8th, out at Centennial Hills Park Amphitheater. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of drumming at this, Steve.
I would imagine so. It sounds like there's going to be quite a bit of drumming.
Yeah, always a good thing. If you like drums and percussion, there it is, the Percussion Collective, Saturday, April 8th at 7 p.m. The Centennial Hills Amphitheater is beautiful out there. The weather that time of year, as we get into April, is going to be just beautiful. So come on out. Again, those are always free. And then Steve, hey, this is one of the shining stars, Ward 6, the Bluegrass Festival, April 15th.
Yeah.
That's coming up. We're really looking forward to that. We've got looking to get some big headliners for that one.
You do get big headliners for
That's
this.
gonna
These
be
aren't
good.
just like the local guys down the street playing in their garage. These are like big bluegrass bands that have got albums.
It's one of our biggest festivals.
Yeah, YouTube videos
It's
out
gonna be
there and
great.
everything. Yeah, this is these are top flight record people just in the bluegrass genre.
It's going to be
So,
great.
good stuff. So, well, Steve Ford, thank you so much for being on
Thank
the
you.
show.
I
Best
appreciate
of
it.
luck to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all the great adaptive programs that we have at the city. Councilwoman, great to have you back on the program.
Thank you, David.
Number 2 show already done. Look at you. It's going to be 20 before you know it. So, but great job on your part. Again, everyone, we want to tell you out there, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Bruning, you can find her on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact her by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send her an email. Her address is nbruni@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff will get right back to you. And again, to her point, if you have any thoughts about things that you'd like to see in the ward related to our Parks and Rec programs, our Cultural Affairs programs, which is now all of one department, right, Steve? Reach out to her office, and she'll pass that on to Steve, and we'll make everything even bigger and better than it is already.
Great.
So, Steve Ford, great to have you on the show.
Got him working hard.
Yeah, you do. You
Thank
do.
you.
And Councilwoman, great job on your part. We'll see you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 6.
Looking forward to it.
Exactly. And in the meantime, we want to thank you for joining us for Access City Council. Our next show begins airing on March 2nd with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knutson. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And watch for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. Also, don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.